I usually start when I talk about the work I do by giving a little background of who I am and why and how I ended up doing the job that I wanted to do. I am good at exactly one thing, and that thing is writing for newspapers. I'm not good at pretty much anything else. I worked for my middle school newspaper, my high school newspaper, and my college newspaper, and in all of those cases, my devotion to those newspapers led me to almost not graduate in all of those various points because I didn't really love science or math, but I was pretty good at being at the paper. So I had the privilege of knowing from a very young age what it was I wanted to do, and how I wanted my career to look like. I knew I wanted to be a newspaper reporter. I knew that I wanted to use that type of platform to cover stories of people who looked like me, who looked like my family, who otherwise perhaps might not have their stories told. But I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do that, and so I initially thought maybe I wanted to be a metro reporter and work in a big city, get to know that city really well. Next, I thought maybe I wanted to be a business reporter. And then finally, I settled on politics, right? Because politics is sexy and it's fun. I remember watching in 2004 and 2008 all the other reporters, and they're filing dispatches from Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina, and I was like, I want to be that guy, right? And it takes a certain type of I don't know, weird shortcoming to watch people having to watch a campaign rally over and over and over again and say, I want to be that guy. But that was me. I wanted to cover politics. I was really excited for it. And so I spent most of my career coming out of college attempting to position myself to cover the 2016 campaign, right? I graduated and went to the Los Angeles Times, where I worked in the City Hall Bureau for a little bit, covering local politics. Then I took a job at the Boston Globe, where I covered city politics. I covered a mayor's race and a governor's race. Also got to contribute to our coverage of the Boston Marathon bombings and a few other big stories. And then I got a call from the Washington Post in late 2013, and they said, we know you love politics. We know you're into it. We know you want to go on the presidential campaign. Come down, cover Congress for us for a year, and if all goes well, we can put you out on the presidential trail. And so I'd done it. I'd made it. I was so excited. I took this job at the Washington Post. Now, mind you, I didn't know anything about Congress at all at the time. I had no clue how Congress worked. I still don't really know how Congress works. But I was so excited to be this national political reporter for the Washington Post. It's what I've been working towards. And so I spent most of 2014 covering Congress. Now, what's interesting about Congress is that, and what's interesting about DC is, in DC politics, is that every issue comes through Capitol Hill. And so being a congressional reporter can mean any number of different things. I know congressional reporters who specialize in immigration, or congressional reporters who specialize in trade. I know congressional reporters who specialize in the politics of Congress, right? What are the caucuses doing? Who's going to be elected to leadership? The kind of backbiting of the Hill. And so it provided me a really interesting opportunity to be able to use this perch at the Washington Post to start trying to tell stories that maybe the other congressional reporters weren't telling.